Hey y'all, stop talking about me. Hey y'all, happy Tuesday. What's going on? Y'all should be able to see me now. I feel like I look weird. Let's see. Oh, sorry. But hey y'all, hey everybody. I'm gonna give everybody a few minutes to come into the room. Hey Scott, hey Derp, hey Manny. I know, right? I know, Manny. Hey Elroy. Yes, I'm here. But yes, it does feel like it's been a long time, y'all. It really does. But I did a video last week. Hey Dominique. I did a video last week about there's gonna be this new investigation going into 9/11. Hey Nicholas. Hey KRT. There's going to be a new investigation going into 9/11. So if y'all haven't seen that, make sure y'all check that out. I know for a fact that video was suppressed. So like certain topics that I'll do, particularly as it relates to like Google, YouTube, things like that, like stuff they're doing, those videos will get way less views. Like I would get more views on my videos when I had like 1,000 subs. So, I obviously know they're censoring, shadow banning it. So make sure y'all check that out. Also, I need y'all to definitely hey Anthony, I need y'all to definitely make sure y'all go follow my new Instagram page, okay? It's RhondaMary Vids, VIDS. So RhondaMary Vids on Instagram and on Twitter. I don't tweet as much. Like I'm really trying to get better, y'all. But yeah, definitely, if anything, make sure you follow me over there on Instagram. Hey Uber guy. Hey Cajun. And one of my friends was telling me that he's going to a walk away. I don't know if it's like a summit or something. I can't remember, but some type of walk away event in Atlanta. He's like, yeah, you should drive down. And I'm like, yeah, but you told me the day of. And so, but I was like, oh, that would have been dope just to go and see, like, but Uber guy, email me. Can you email me the details? My email address is RhondaMaryVideos@gmail. Hey Michael, hey Little Rock. But all right, y'all, happy Tuesday. Hopefully everybody is doing well. So y'all know I had to come and talk a little bit about this summit over at REVOLT TV. I have no clue how long or short this video is going to be. Sometimes when I get into what I'm saying, y'all know I can talk a little bit, okay? But parts of this video, like the summit and stuff, I was kind of just annoyed by and like over, and it was kind of just getting on my nerves. So I'm like, you know what I mean? So, walk away town hall. Thank you. That's what I was trying to say. But so we're going to talk about this a little bit tonight. I'm actually going to go through a few different parts of the video and talk about, just my thoughts on it, my general thoughts, what I thought about the thing overall. And then I'm going to talk about this whole blowout about, when was America great and all this stuff. When is America great for Black people and all that. So I'll get to that kind of closer to the end. But anyway, my homegirl called me today and she FaceTimed me and she was like, girl, yeah, so I'm getting ready to, I applied to be a representative for the census and I think you should do it with me. I was watching the summit on REVOLT TV And she was like, I was just inspired by it. And I was thinking, what can I do for our community? And I really want to make sure that we're represented and stuff like this. And I know I just lit up because I was like, that's dope. Like, that's so dope to me. Like, people that, because I talk about this all the time, man. I talk about this all the time. People get on social media and pretend to fake care about stuff, fake talk about stuff. People be on one topic to the next, whatever's trending, bam, bam, bam. People have these short attention spans. And I always tell people, man, get involved with the stuff that y'all say y'all care about. Like, get out here and do something. Give some of your time. Give some service. Like, so you can be about what you be talking about. Because I can't, and those are the type of people that I rock with, man. Like, I can't sit around people that just be complaining, want to talk about they doing this and they doing that and they ain't doing enough of this. And I be like, okay, what you doing? You know what I mean? How you making the world a better place? Well, I work. Well, what? Like, no, I don't want to hear nothing else you got to say. No, like, I don't know. I just don't rock with it. But anyway, so I was like, that's kind of dope. That's inspiring. So I want to tell other people about that as well. But all right, y'all. So I may get like a little strike because I'm gonna use the actual footage from REVOLT TV on YouTube. I don't know, but I'm willing to take the chance because I'm the type of person when I'm talking about something, y'all know I like to actually show y'all basically like what I'm talking about and stuff like that. Hey, Truth Seeker. Because now and again, I'll have people that's actually coming across stuff for like the first time and may not have actually seen the video or the whole video and stuff like that. So we're going to go through it a little bit. So let's see here. All right.
All right, Tip. So to me, I think the main, I'm gonna run down a list of things, but they all kind of coincide together. I think that homegrown terrorism and crazy white boys with AR-15 shooting up innocent people. I also think mass incarceration, the privatized prison industry, the militarization of police and how they interact with the people in our communities, and police brutality. I think all of those things, although they seem separate, I think they coincide. I think they correlate.
So basically the first question the moderator asked, and he went to everybody on the panel and he was like, what's your biggest, I can't even think of the word I'm trying to say, your biggest issue, right, that you're going to vote on this election. The first thing T.I. starts talking about is white supremacy terrorism. So we know when he talks about this, he's basically talking about like y'all know how like the guy shot at the concert in Vegas and stuff like this. And so right at that point watching this, and it's like 4 minutes in, and I'm like, yup, I knew it. This gonna be some straight up BS. Like, I don't even know why I wanted to watch this, but I'm like, I'm gonna give him a chance. But anyway, this whole thing with T.I., I'm like, first of all, there's some straight up talking points. Like, I just get tired of being bombarded with talking points that are not like your own and don't come from your own thoughts. Like, those type of shootings are a very, very small slither of affecting a small portion of what's affecting Black people. Like, if at all. You know what I mean? There's so many other issues. I'm sure if you even took a poll right now and just walked around asking people what would be their biggest issue on this upcoming election, that's not going to be the freaking answer, okay? And then he goes on to talk about the criminal justice system. I obviously think that's a fair point. I talked about that several times on my channel, and stuff like this. But kind of even bringing stuff up around the topics of gun control and criminal justice, and like, you know what I mean? I don't like that idea. I don't like this idea. My friend, y'all, that I was just talking to y'all about, that I said, what says she gonna be the census representative. She just texts me something, oh, I'm famous. That girl's so silly. But anyway, but I think it's just straight up virtue signaling. Like, dude, you got caught with guns after a freaking felony. You know how guns in the hands of the wrong people can be very detrimental to the Black community. Like, I just don't like all that, like, you know, kicking the can down the road. I don't know. Like, just be real and say what it is. So when he was saying stuff like that, and I'm like, dude, with your record, you know what I mean? And you trying to take guns from people, and you obviously see it doesn't work because they weren't able to keep guns out of your hand. I mean, initially, you know what I mean? He had guns, he had an arsenal. So at that point, you know, before he ended up going back to jail, if he wanted to do something irresponsible, he would have had the chance to. You know what I mean? Like, let's just be real. Like, what is the government really stopping though? Like, you still got the drugs out here. You got the guns out here. You got the freaking telemarketers calling. You got people doing predatory loans and all this stuff. So all this, we can stop this. We can protect you from this. Like, I don't know. It's just some BS. So to hear that coming from people like him, I don't know. But anyway, I was like, dude, really? And so Killer Mike started talking about his biggest issues.
Mike, for me, directly speaking, for and on the behalf of the African American community, because I think that when we talk about what's our important issues, a lot of times, a lot of us try to cover broad ground. So, and
let me say this. Tanner Williams said, how T.I. get only 1 year for that? Like, let's be real. You know what I mean? You were talking, but people like T.I. get a pass. You know what I mean? You get a pass. I don't even know how many felonies he had at that point or whatever, but people like that get a pass. But Tekashi 6ix9ine, like, oh, you a snitch, you this and you that. I mean, which I don't really, you know, I don't per se like just subscribe to the whole culture of the you snitching thing, but I'm the type of person like be consistent, and a lot of people out here are just fundamentally inconsistent.
I'm supporting Senator Sanders. If you want to know my broad ground answers, it's within his campaign. But from a very acute and very where we are standpoints, African Americans have to be bigger part of the economic landscape of this country. We should be owners and not buyers. We should be a merchant class and not only consumers. We should have and we should use our political leverage power to leverage and broker government contracts on the behalf of us so that we have 15 Atlantas and not one Atlanta. You should be hunting, fishing, shooting, training, and focusing on self-reliance and not simply relying on the people you say to hate to take care of you.
Now, let me tell y'all, that right there, that moment was probably like one of the most significant, I think, within this summit, this panel. Every single thing he said, I pretty much agree with. And I think what annoys me about this stuff is these are the things that we should be talking about year freaking round, okay? But you have these people that get together every election cycle, you know what I mean? They make you think, like this level of perception for the government, to me, is so annoying and it's tiring, man. Like, everything that's happening around us is the result of millions of choices that everybody is making. Me, you, the people around you, the people teaching your children, the people at your job, the people at your freaking local VA. Like, it's a lot. You know what I mean? So I would have liked to see a huge part of this summit be about this. You know what I mean? Like, to me, that just makes sense. But this idea that, and I think Mike is going to go into address this a little bit more at the end. I'm going to talk about that. But this idea that the government is just going to save us and can just fix our problems, I'm sorry, I don't believe it. I just don't. Like, people, may call me like negative or pessimistic, but I cannot find a time in history where I just feel like the government, particularly when it comes to Black people, have done anything to just a amazing standard. Like, everything, even when they call themselves fixing it, ends up more broken. Like, look at the freaking public school system, for example. Look at the inner city schools. I just watched a documentary, y'all, like 2 weeks ago. I had no freaking clue that the public schools are more segregated now. They are more segregated now than like in the freaking 90s or maybe even like the 80s. The schools are more segregated. People decided to vote with their feet because people decided to make individual choices, and you cannot legislate individual choices like that. It's impossible. You know what I mean? So they call themselves trying to fix something, but now, in compared to the 80s, and this is our statistics, I'm just keeping it real with y'all. Like, they got into this whole thing of, when was Black America great and blah 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 blah. I think like the 70s or 80s, like the Black students had some of the highest scores, the best like education as far as terms to being on an equal footing with other groups of people. Now we don't have that anymore. The education system is like terrible. It sucks. And the just education alone, and Candace brought this up in this summit, but just education alone is such a big freaking topic because education literally impacts every facet of your life, man. Like, people literally sleep on how important and detrimental good education is. Like, we know that they were using like reading and test scores and stuff like this supposedly to like build prison systems and stuff like this. So this is like a real issue, and these are the things that affects every freaking body. You know what I mean? I was like, y'all know I made the video about the First Step Act. I was happy about that. I'm cool with it. Black people getting out of jail, this and the other. But you know what? Way more Black people are going to be affected by it every single day. Every single day. The education systems, okay? Most Black people, majority of Black people are not able to homeschool their kids because you have two parents working now. Or most people, a lot of Black people cannot afford to send their children to private school. So these public school systems, that's freaking impactful, and it follows you. These are the things that people need to be talking about year long, voting year or not, upcoming election or not. Like, it's real. And I've seen how stuff like that can really change. Just enhancing a child's reading skills can really change the trajectory of their life, because you can be more engaged and care about school more when you're actually learning. Okay, so I don't know. That's why, like, stuff like this, I mean, whatever. I guess, it inspires some people and keep them going. But I'm like, these are the conversations like y'all got to care year round. And this is why it's so easy for politicians to just come in and use people, because it looks like you only care when elections are coming up. You know what I mean? And so, but, so that was Killer Mike or whatever. But let's look at this next point. I think this was a Make America Great thing.
That's a fallacy. When did Trump ever say black people are the problem? Make America great again. That's when he said it. Guys, but I'm not on the panel. That was Ronald Reagan's slogan. Was that racist when Ronald Reagan had it as a slogan? Yes. What time? It was. Yes. Let me ask you. So that slogan is racist. Please answer this. I have a question. Wait. Please just allow me just one outburst. Please. I have a question. When you say make America great again, which period are we talking about? The period when women couldn't vote? The period when we were hanging from trees? I'll answer. Like the crack era? Which period in America are you trying to make America like? So I actually think that I would totally rock a hat right now that said make Black America great again. Because Black America, before, we're talking about make America. That wasn't the question. I am answering your question. Which period was America great that we're trying to replicate? Which era was it? Tell me. I think I'll answer your question. I'm ready to answer your question. Which era was it? What? Which era was so great? Here's the thing that you guys are forgetting. America was actually one of the slavery was all over the world. All over the world. America was, I'm not saying it's okay, so why are you saying, oh? Hey, man. America was one of the first countries.
Like this whole like back and forth and this and I mean, really, like, what are y'all even arguing over? Like, what is it in essence? You know what I mean? When you really think about it, what, like, so this whole back and forth, and I know people just really into entertainment. And I personally, I was like, man, I don't even feel like T.I. should have been there because I don't necessarily feel like he added anything of substance or of value to the panel. But somebody earlier was like, well, you know what I mean? He kind of has this, she didn't say street cred. I can't remember what she said. But she said he's able to reach people in a way that, some black men in a way that other people would. And I do agree with that. I agree that he added the value that a lot of people, if T.I. had not been on this panel, it's a lot of people that just wouldn't have watched this. You know what I mean? I just don't think they would have. And so I do think he added value in that way. But the things he was saying, like, I'm talking more about it though.
You're so smart. I want to like you so much. I want to hear you. I want to be able to hear them. I want to be able to hear them. If you answer the question and you're just going to boo when I say slavery was all over the world, which is a fact, why are you booing a fact? Because you're making light of... No, I'm not. You're making light of the enslavement of people that look like us. You can't make light of that. That ain't nothing to breeze over. I haven't even finished the sentence. How am I making light of anything? You started with some bullshit. So, Candace, hold on, wait. We can be emotional, Candace, we can boo, we can cheer, but I'm telling you right now, the black vote is not going to matter after the next about 5 years if you don't start paying attention to what I'm saying to you. Because I'm trying to tell you guys the truth, the absolute truth about what is happening in Black America. You are being used, abused, and lied to and manipulated emotionally by the Democrat Party. That is what I am here to tell you. You want to keep uprising and talking about racism when they're taking our fathers out of the home? When they're making wealth. No. We got you. Because we're seeing it happen right here. Right here. I'm telling you it. And you're being responsive because I can't finish a sentence about what I was going to say about slavery. Katrina.
My God. So basically, T.I. was going on to say, like you sit here and say out of your own mouth, like, I like the tax cuts, I like the opportunity zones, I like this, I like that, but you basically going to say, okay, I cannot align myself with, I think he said, like, white supremacy or something like this. And she goes on to basically say, well, he's denounced white supremacy. Trump has announced white supremacy several times, which he has, okay? Several times. You can find this online. Now, I don't feel like people sitting on this panel should be this uneducated. The difference is you can say, you can't, it's a free freaking country. So you can say, oh, he's denounced white supremacy, but I don't believe him, or I don't agree, or I think it was some BS, or I'm not accepting it. Say that, but don't lie. Like, don't lie to people. Like, you're here, you're supposed to be educated on what you're talking about. And if you don't know, you don't know. But I hate when people just regurgitate these talking points. Like, it's very, very tiring to me. Like, the lies, just stand on, like, if you like, okay, bam, you know what I'm saying? Hey, he denounced white supremacy, but then there's some stuff he still said that I didn't like. I'm not rocking with that. Okay, that's that. But don't, like, I just hate the BS and the posturing and the constantly taking people on these emotional roller coasters that are just not factual. But to everybody watching, that seems, because you don't know, that seems like a gotcha moment, because somebody is able to what, like, cuss better or say this or say that, you know what I mean? And like she said, we are constantly, most of this was like emotional and how can we vote based? You know what I mean? How can we vote? How can we do this right now? And it's like, y'all gotta think deeper than that, man. It's like it's just way deeper. And some people are so surface level so they can't even comprehend like the different moving parts. And we're human. Some stuff you're not gonna agree with, and some stuff you are. And I just think people, it's way more complex, and people just try to simplify everything to make it easier for us to digest. But we're not dumb, we're not incapable of thinking, but people have to be willing to do it. And this is why these politicians are able to get over on us like they do, run some BS. They will take a whole freaking policy and packed it into a freaking headline, and people will just run away with that. You know what I mean? Like, believe all women. No. Run that back, because it's a whole movement. It's a whole lot of discussions happening behind this slogan. Y'all just push the slogans like we a bunch of dummies, and it's just not the case. So people have to be able to look beyond the surface level of what these people be saying. But you have to be open-minded and be willing to do the research to do that or whatever. But let's look at this part where Killer Mike came in.
Seven years after the ending of the Civil War. Exactly what Candace, because you didn't give the comment, so you weren't prepared for that one.
And this is him. This is him basically answering, when was America great for Black people?
That's not to jump on Candace, because again, I'm disagreeing with my friend. 7 years after the end of Civil War, Blacks within 7 to 15 years accumulated over 15 million acres of land. Hold on, before we get to clapping, because the niggas bought some shit. Black people were the only skilled labor in there. So if it was welding to be done, iron bending, cotton picking, it was Black people. So instantly, your value became more. And Candace has a point. The point statement she made about illegal immigration affecting you is it is going to affect you at some point. Why? If the Kegel Chicken Factory is hiring illegal immigrants at an undercut on the rate, it affects the black people who live there who should be demanding $20 an hour because they're being undercut. So when they get wiped out, they have to hire blacks, pay them, and unionize. So she's right on that. But hold the fuck on, I'm not finished. You have to remember that people who look like you immigrate too. So before you widely say, fuck them all, remember, America is always going to have a slave class. And if illegal immigrants or legal immigrants will not be the lowest paid workers, those in prison will be, and that always ends up looking like one of their sons. So it circles back around. So that's why people who are black, who are from two different plantations, got to get the fuck away from massa long enough to say, how are we going to burn down both their fucking houses? Now, this is my thought. This is my thought. I don't care if you destroy the Republican or Democratic Party, because at one time, blacks were Republicans. And you dominated those 7 years after the Civil War. You were Republicans. You had more blacks in the House and Senate than you do now, and you dominated your own economic communities. You did that as Republicans. As Democrats, you did the same in cities like Atlanta. You failed in other cities. But the most important thing is self-organizing. By the time we get to a candidate, we should have a list that says white man, white woman, these are our demands.
So, like, that whole little thing, I feel like he's right on the money. You know what I'm saying? I feel like he's right on the money. Some people got offended by that whole, kill your masters thing. And y'all know I don't like that that plantation, get off the plantation, kill your masters. And, I don't like that, because I think I don't rock with that type of language. I think it's offensive. And I think that, I don't know. I just think like you slighting slavery. Like, even when I be talking to people and they be like, they'll say, I'm about to go to, what they'll say, like, I'm about to go to the slave yard or something people will say, instead of saying I'm about to go to work. Like, you chose this job. You're not doing this by force. Don't compare yourself to our freaking ancestors. Like, to me, I don't know. I just don't really rock with it. But regardless of that fact, I understand what Killer Mike was saying. And I say this all the freaking time, and I think he was dead on. I took his point as being, and like I said, I always say this, every 4 years, people act like it's some white person or biracial person that's about to ride in on a white horse like a knight, come in to save the day, magically just change your life and transcend every choice you've ever made and make your life beautiful and rainbows and butterflies. And it's like, no, like, screw that. Like, get out of that mindset, man. It's like personal responsibility, like he said just now and earlier. Like, literally from being armed, being trained, learning how to freaking grow your own food. I think he said something about like education, like these things that literally impact us. Like, if you don't turn on your freaking TV, if you don't turn on your TV, these are things that affect you in real time. If nobody tells you what's going on in politics, these are things that affect you in real time. I love the fact that he addressed the illegal immigration thing, and he did it perfectly. And hopefully that will help people see a little bit more about how, and Candace talked about this too, not only from how it impacts the weight of our vote, but literally how it impacts your ability to feed your family. some of those skill jobs and stuff like this, these can really be great paying jobs. You know what I mean? For a lot of Black people who might not be college educated, who might be just regular working class. These are jobs that people work. I did a video showing y'all the plant that was raided a couple of weeks back in Mississippi. Like, if these people, I hear progressives saying, basically like, stick it to the elitists, for, a lack of better terms, but then you want to make a way out for them to be able to hire basically slave labor. That's what it is, because they will put these immigrants in subpar conditions, make them, they will pay them subpar wages, and y'all just cool with it. Like, are y'all against slave labor or not? Like, it just doesn't be making sense to me. So when you cut out the illegal immigration and make people do it the right way, like come here illegally or do work visas, come here legally, do work visas and stuff like this, it allows people to get paid at the rate they need to be paid. So people be like, oh, Black people don't want to do those jobs. You think people making $8 an hour, $9 an hour, working jobs they don't like, you don't think they'll work at the chicken plant for $18 an hour, $20 an hour? When you put Koch brothers, they're freaking millionaires, okay? You put the rubber to the road and you say, you know what? We cutting this illegal immigration out. Y'all got to pay people what they deserve, or you out of here. You close down. We don't need you. You know what I mean? You're not directly impacting this community right here, people that live here, born here. So you're out. What better way to stick it to the elites than that? Like, that just makes sense to me. You know what I mean? Pay people what they're worth. Like, so a lot of times people, their ideas of what they say they want, and then what you want to see in policy is conflating. It doesn't make sense. Thank you, Mr. G. He said, it's clear who wants our votes and are willing to at least listen to us. They want your votes. They wouldn't do so much to stop you from voting. Thank you. But so and a crazy thing is that I feel like Killer Mike and Candace Owens actually agree on a lot of points, but let's just keep it real. If people feel like they don't vibe with you a certain way, or they don't rock with you a certain way, it's harder for people to accept things from you, accept the truth from you. And I think it's really unfortunate, because you can ultimately not like somebody and still accept the truth. You don't push away or you don't reject the truth just off the basis of the messenger. You know what I mean? So Black people, I just feel like a lot of times, the way I see it on social media, or at least the way the media presents, is like Black people just constantly want to be pat on the back and told, oh, you're great, you're so beautiful, you're this and you're that. But it's like, no, sometimes you just need to get this raw truth. You need to get the facts. You need to get the statistics. Everybody's not going to say everything cute to you. You're not going to like everybody, and you don't have to, but the truth is the truth. You know what I mean? So to even sit here and try to make so much of this emotional, like, okay, bam, I'm not the one to try to take people's feelings away from them. Like, you can feel how you want to feel. It's a free freaking country. You know what I mean? But bam, after you feel like that, now let's look at this policy. How is this policy affecting you in your everyday life? How are these laws impacting you? And a lot of this, to me, it just be straight up virtue signaling. Like, I don't know. And that's just crazy to me. But this was a good point that I want to show as well. And then I think I'm going to wrap it up.
Wait, I'm going to tell you what's wrong with it. I say illegal is the new black because it's true, and there's a reason why they're advocating for open borders. Right now, our vote means a lot, but new births of Black Americans have stagnated. The population growth within Black America has stagnated. So the things that I pay attention to are the numbers. I pay attention to the birth rates in this country, which is why I'm pro putting something down to stop illegal immigration. The second thing that I think is really important, and you may have heard me testify in front of Congress, is the illiteracy rates that are facing Black America. 75% of Black boys in California can't pass a reading exam. Across Baltimore, they looked at 5 schools. They couldn't find a single Black boy that was a single Black child that could pass a basic reading or a math exam. So I caught a lot of slack because I said this is a Democrat plantation, but I meant what I said. If you look historically at what the plantations were when we were slaves, there were 3 things that were necessary for them to run. The first was our ignorance. Black Americans were not allowed to learn how to read unless we would have our limbs chopped off. And that was because an educated mind cannot be enslaved. So the fact that our our schools are in this condition in the inner cities and all throughout America and not a single candidate is talking about it is problematic to me. I think that that's a huge negotiating tool for me. We need to be talking about the inner city schools. Another component, and this is the biggest issue that I think is facing Black America today, which was important to maintaining the plantations, was the breakdown of family. The biggest issue facing Black America is father absence. We have children that are growing up without their fathers in the home, and that is being incentivized by the government right now via the welfare system. When the government says we'll give you more money if you don't marry the father of your children, you are incentivizing bad behavior in our community. What happens when you remove a father from the home? This is why I do not mess with feminism at all. I'm not with it. This breakdown and mocking masculinity, making it seem like there's something wrong to be a man, all of this contributes to the breakdown of family. When you remove...
Hey, hold on. So, hold on, brother, hold on. There's going to be an opportunity for each of you to engage, but I want to make sure this sister has the right to talk while she's here. That's why we invited her. So let her say what she needs to say, and then let's keep it moving. Come on, y'all.
The single motherhood rate in the 1960s in Black America, and they thought that...
Now, hold on. I want to finish this. This is on your behalf. At a certain point, we can't be assholes. At a certain point, these are Black men and women, and in particular, these are Black women. On some real G shit. It doesn't matter how you feel about her personally. Everything she has just said, Louis Farrakhan said for the last 25 fucking years. And I don't know if she's a fan of Farrakhan. I know me and Speak are. Bam. But you cannot take the truth and be mad at who tells it to you. So just chill, bro. Shut the fuck up. Let her say it and receive the information. That's it. I apologize. I digress.
Thank you.
Mike, thank you so much.
I want you to continue because I was listening.
Yeah. So, I mean, I've been turned into public enemy number 1. I say the same thing when I hit every stage. The single motherhood rate in the Black community in the 1960s, before Lyndon Baines Johnson started the Great Society Act, was 23%. At that time, that was considered very high. 23% of Black people growing up without a father in the home. The single motherhood rate in the Black community today is 74%. 74% of our children are growing up without a father in the home. It was Barack Obama, who I don't even really have anything for, who told you what happens when you remove a father from the home. You're 9 times more likely to end up in prison. You're 6 times more likely to drop out of high school, and you're 12 times more likely to lead a life of poverty. Why is nobody talking about father absence, and why do we keep being silent when we actually do?
So I think she made some good points right there. And if you notice, and this is why I say that, this is exactly why I say that these type of summits and talks should be year round, not just election time. Because if you notice, a lot of the stuff that her and Killer Mike are saying, if you really look at the stuff on surface level, it's straight up personal responsibility, like stuff you can do right now no matter who's in freaking office. But these are the connections that people don't make. They want you to think it's the president, but no, you're literally sitting here talking about education. And don't get me wrong, you do have budgets and stuff like that can affect education. But these are things that we can also impact as well, right? So education, she talks about father absentee. That is still the result of personal choices, okay? Like Killer Mike said, protecting yourself and, you know, supporting your community and doing all these other things. I don't know. And then let me I think it was one more part that I want to show, just for the simple fact what I mean when I say people are not consistent.
This is where gentrification starts first. Okay, so that was my point. I had a question for both of you young ladies, and you and Candace, we spoke many times, and you're extremely a brilliant young lady. But my question to you is, how is it that you can support yourself? I mean, that you can support and align with a constituency that will not denounce white supremacy? So that means your son or daughter, or or any of your brothers or any of your family members, if they are caught out there by a policeman who is a covert, undercover white supremacist and get gunned down, this constituency will have absolutely nothing to say about it.
Please let me answer this question.
All right, so let me turn this screen share off. So y'all hear that? You know what I mean? If somebody out there gets shot, how can you support that? Thank you, Mr. G. He said she's disingenuous. White boys in Alabama, Mississippi, Tennessee aren't the top scholars leading academia in the red states either. America just isn't that great as far as education. But if you're looking at the numbers, you're looking at the statistics overall, Black children are not measuring up. Like, they're not. I'm sorry. And I literally deal with this. You know what I mean? So, but that's a whole nother point. But what I was about to say was, what was I about to say? I just lost my thought. Okay. About T.I. and his, you know what I mean? If your son was out there, got killed by a cop, boom, you know what I'm saying? This presidency wouldn't have anything to say about it, and da-da-da. And I'm like, look, that was my problem with T.I. during this whole thing. All of his stuff is emotional based stuff. All of it is emotional based logic, because let's just think about it for a second, right? Barack Obama. His words were beautiful. You know what I'm saying? Beautiful words, beautiful platitudes, made you feel it in your heart. You know what I mean? Amazing. Good speeches. Make you stand on your feet and clap your hands. Cool. You know what I'm saying? Cool. Okay. But what did you have to show for that? Some of the main police involved shootings of the people's names that y'all can remember happened under Obama's presidency. What did Obama say? Trayvon Martin could have been my son. So beautiful. And then you go freaking sign legislation for cop alerts or whatever, the blue act or something. I can't even think of the name of it right now. So it's like, what are we elevating? You know what I mean? Like, You just want platitudes. You just want beautiful words, or y'all want legislation. That's why I cannot get caught up in this, this slogan and this. Man, I don't care. I don't be trying to hear that. A lot of this stuff be bogging my mind down. I already have an overactive mind. I don't need people constantly just throwing fodder at me that does not really matter. It does not really matter. You know what I mean? Like, what legislation are people trying to see? How is that happening? How do you see that happening? What issues are important to you? What issues, if you stop virtue signaling today, and think about what's actually impacting your life if you turn the TV off. Then I think a lot of this will be nipped in the bud. Like, a lot of these talking points and fighting over, was America great? Was America not great? And this. And I'm just like, so do you just want the cute words? Or do you want people that's going to come in there and do something? So you cannot hold, I don't feel like you can hold Trump to this level that you didn't even hold Barack Obama to. Like, it just doesn't make sense. Like I said, he said some very nice words, but how did that translate? How did that transcend to affect your life and what you're seeing in the criminal justice system, and how, Black men are interacting with the police and all these other things? That's where the connection is. All this other stuff is just talk. You know what I mean? So anyway, when was America great? When was America great for Black people? First of all, and before I go into this, and I think y'all already got the point anyway, but overall, I think Candace and Killer Mike made the best points, okay? They told the most truth. They stayed on topic without emotionalizing or kind of trying to, shift the conversation. I think they talked about stuff that people can not only think about just when it's time to vote, but literally impacts and affects our lives daily. And I think these are the discussions, the important discussions, and really getting down to the nitty gritty. I mean, making you stand up and clap and, oh, I got your moment, hashtag trending. I mean, that's cool for the entertainment value, but how much entertainment do we really, how much more do you need? Honestly. But so when was America great for Black people? First of all, let's start talking about Black people like they're monolith. That's number one. Okay, but believe it or not, I know certain people have voices to be the forefront in the media, but I guarantee you, if you're not hearing talking points, right, and you actually went to talk to people and kind of get their perspective of some of the best times reflected in Black America according to them, I think you would get different answers. All right, if they're not just repeating talking points. Also, you have people like T.I., Diddy, Killer Mike having these conversations. Don't sit up here and try to make me believe that my life is similar to T.I. Don't sit here and try to make me believe that my life is freaking similar to Diddy, who can go to Greece overnight in his private jet. He can wake up at 12 a.m. and say, hey, I want to go to Greece tonight, and jump on his private jet and go lay by the water and drink mimosas. You know what I mean? So what everybody feels and feels from this economy, from this culture, from this nation, is going to be based on their own personal experiences. I feel like people need to stop virtue signaling and stop telling me your experiences are mine, because it's just not true. It's just not true. We're vastly different, and some people don't even understand how that's a hindrance to themselves when you know, you try to make it seem like, and don't get me wrong, obviously black people have a lot in common a lot of times, and we share some beautiful cultural things and experiences that can certainly be the case. But when it comes to how we think, what we want, our agendas in life, our motivations, our political stances, our individual everyday experiences, they're not the same. They're not the same. So that's number one. Number two, I literally just talked about this, man. I literally just talked about this on a live. I think this was like 2-3 weeks ago. I said, stop showing us these freaking slave movies. Stop. Like, I'm so tired of it. Like, don't get me wrong. I will never tell people to omit parts of history. We know it's important, but I want to see other things. Okay? Even you know, how we talk about things. If you always talk about slavery, people are going to represent that in what they're showing you through Hollywood, through independent film, on YouTube, whatever, because they think that's what you care about. But there was literally a time right after the period of slavery where people were black people were in freaking trades and skills and doing everything. Killer Mike even touched on this, okay? Literally doing everything. Welders, builders, farmers. I actually want to see black people getting back into some of these trades, and you could actually, if illegal immigration is cut out, you could probably make some good money from these things. But the Reconstruction period, thank you. Black people were doctors, lawyers, had their own communities. What bugs the crap out of me with Republicans, they don't like to follow up the point of what happened and how we got moved away from that. So you literally had the freaking I can't even say that. The KKK. Yeah, I know my southern draw be getting to me sometimes. But you literally had the freaking KKK, white supremacists and stuff like this that would come through, terrorize people, kill them, burn down towns and stuff like this, all this kind of stuff. And people don't even know, man. People don't even know that black people are so resilient. For example, with Black Wall Street in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Okay. Black Wall Street, most people don't even know. After Black Wall Street was burned down, black people were so freaking resilient that they built it, they rebuilt. They rebuilt and was working on getting it back. Like, this levels of resilience and tenacity that people don't freaking talk about. They want to show you slave movies. I think that is for a reason. I think that is for a reason, man, because it constantly puts you in a certain mind state. But if we're going to talk about it, let's talk about it all. Don't come at me with these talking points. I don't care whether they left talking points or I don't care whether they love talking points or right talking points. But oh my God, y'all, I just lost my thought. I hate when I do that, especially when I be on the roll. That's why I'm not good at multitasking. I can't be doing multiple things at once. But anyway, so Reconstruction. So after that, so freaking resilient that they started rebuilding. Thank you, Jonathan. People don't talk about this, man. Like, this part of history gets lost, and it's very important, even though it was a short time. And I'm gonna tell you why it's important. Before I tell you why it's important, so after that, I'm gonna call you right back. So after that, So after that, like, they were rebuilding. And so it's like, people don't want to talk about that, though. People don't talk about this part of the story and how important it is. And even though it was a short time, after that, you have integration that comes along, right? And so with that, that changed the trajectory of what was happening. When you say, oh, you don't need your store anymore. You don't need your neighborhood anymore. You don't need your community anymore. Okay, bam, you can go over here. You can spend your money here. You can shop here. And that literally, that, y'all get on my nerves because y'all be cracking me up in these comments, and y'all know I'm on a roll, and you know when I get on a roll, y'all, I be losing my thoughts, and you messing me up, okay? but anyway, so I think these are discussions that's important to have, man, and people want to omit that from the story, and that's wrong, and they do it on purpose. And I think that was a great thing. And if people could have kept that mindset, like I said, without, okay, now, you know what I mean? And I understand it was hard. Don't get me wrong. I am not trying to talk around that at all, because I understand livelihood. You want to be safe. You want to be comfortable. But when you turn around and have these trade-offs, now you have us to where we are in 2019, because now it's like, oh, we need the government to do this. We need the government to do that. We need the government to be this for us. Oh, man. Y'all, please don't do that. So, and the last thing I want to say, and then I am going to get off, y'all. So the last thing I want to say is the whole slogan aspect of it, right? Like, oh, you know what I mean? When was America great? When was America great? Like, I remember when the slogan, I don't know, when the slogan like first came out or something like that. And I think the media was talking about it, or I saw it somewhere. And I just remember thinking like really much of nothing. You know what I mean? Like, I really just didn't think much of nothing. Maybe I wasn't insightful enough to know that everybody was going to turn this around and be like, oh my God, this is so racist. When was America great for Black people and stuff like that? But I thought nothing. And so my point is, what I was saying about T.I. is that I see too many people internalizing these slogans. Internalizing, and they will live their whole life off slogans, headlines, titles, buzzwords, this and the other. So, you know, believe our women, kids in cages, my body, my choice. You know what I mean? And this is for a reason, because they think you have people trying to represent us, and they're like, oh, they don't have time to think about that. They don't have time to be worried about this. You know what I mean? Let us think for them. So we'll just simplify it in a slogan. We'll simplify it in a headline. And, don't worry your pretty little head about the policy. I got that. We got you. You know what I mean? We got your back. Just repeat the slogan. And so my thing is, it's a freaking slogan. You know what I mean? It's a slogan. Like, I'm not just highly offended by stuff anyway. So I understand my experience may be different. But it's a freaking slogan, man. It's a slogan. Like every other slogan. Like, is that slogan, okay, bam, it happened. It's done. Like, like 4 years later now? Almost 4 years. Y'all still, you want to take 10 minutes out of a segment to talk about a slogan when we talking about things that transcend people's lives, their livelihood. And this is one thing that, thank you, Jonathan. Jonathan said T.I. reminds me of an aggressive Care Bear. But this is one thing that, and then I'm gonna end on this note, y'all. But this is one thing where I feel like Candace Owens misses the mark, right? Because you have a lot of these great talking points, but then not just her, but people on the panel make it seem like it's this one president that could come in and just totally affect everybody's life. And the truth of the matter is, when people stop virtue signaling, it's a lot of people that don't feel affected on a personal level. They might not be able to feel or see this representation of what's being told to them on the media. They don't feel that their life is having this magical change. They don't feel that what the media is telling them transcends and impacts their daily lives. And that's where people like me come in. This is the difference with me. The government wasn't meant to do that. I'm the type of person, I particularly believe that, you know, like, I had a mindset, I want the person that's gonna mess it up the least. Literally. The person that's gonna come in there and mess it up the least, because this idea that just this one person is gonna come in and everything about your life is gonna change and be great and be magical, it's not true. It's not true. If you can show me a time in history where that has happened, I will look into it, but I do not have that type of faith in any government or any one president that, and I think a lot of that has to do with miseducation as well. A lot of people are confused about the intention of what the government was actually supposed to do. The government was set up to protect your God-given rights, not to, I mean, let's be honest, it really wasn't set up to educate your children. It wasn't set up to pay your medical care. It wasn't set up to do all these things. That was not the original intent. And so if we keep telling people that, oh, this president is going to come do this and do that, and they're going to give you this, and they're going to give you this for free, and they're going to make your life better, and this is going to be great. Don't be mad when people asking, all right, bam, I want this, I want that, give me reparations. Because you're telling them that the government is give, do. And that was just not. And so I think, I don't know, it's like when I went to that mindset of like, you know what, mostly just leave me alone. You know what I'm saying? I want the ability to live safely. You know what I mean? And kind of make my own decisions about how I want my life to be. Because a lot of this, when you think about it, is straight up overreach, man. It's so much government overreach that freaking stifles the Black community. And people don't talk about that. And it's crazy because Killer Mike got the right ideas. Like, a lot of the stuff he was saying was really great, really good. I think people need to hear it. I think people need to hear that. These are the talks that we need to be having. These are the things that I try to say constantly to kind of even get people out of that mindset of thinking that government is some hero, man. These are just regular people. A lot of them, they're just regular people. And to be honest, a lot of them are corrupt and not trustworthy, regardless of if they look like you, regardless of if they're telling you, I'm going to give you this, I'm going to give you that, I mean, so, Those are my thoughts. But y'all, let me go return this little phone call. Oh man. But anyway, y'all. So I just had to come on here for a few minutes and talk about that. I think they made some good points. I think some of it was BS. Some of it kind of got on my nerves because I'm like, I don't want to hear this. But overall, man, I think that could be so impactful. Like I told y'all, if you was here at the beginning of my live, I said how my friend hit me up today and she was like, yeah, girl. She was like, I'm thinking about, being a census representative because I was watching the thing on REVOLT TV. And, I want to think, man, what can I do for our community? I want to make sure that we're represented. You know what I mean? And she was inspired by that because, they're basically saying like, okay, these are things that's lacking. And when people, and this is what I mean when I talk about choices, just think of thousands of people getting that itch for calls to action. You know what I'm saying? Instead of, oh, the president can do this, the president can do that, the president, vote for this person. You know what I mean? Those little decisions add up to big changes, man. So if everybody thought like that, okay, bam, what can I do? How can I impact something? How can I affect this? What change can I make in my life to make my community better? That'll be so dope. So I think these conversations are important and they do some good, but I think it needs to be more, my personal opinion, I think it needs to be way more focused on self-responsibility, things we can do, way less virtue signaling, and way more discussions, not just every 4 years. But all right, Black introvert. I'm gonna go, y'all. Thank y'all to everybody who super chatted. Thank y'all so much. I always appreciate that. Thank y'all to the people who share my videos, like retweet my stuff, follow me on my other platforms. Like I always tell y'all how much I appreciate y'all. I don't take that for granted at all. YouTube be making it hard for your girl from time to time or whatever. So I always thank y'all for y'all support, like, or whatever. But hopefully, I don't know, I was kind of like, my mind in a million places tonight. So hopefully I did okay. But all right, y'all. So have a good night. We'll be talking soon. Bye.